How do we start? Hello everyone, it's Shayne from Onyx Realtors, and today we'll be talking about Adelaide property market. Now, what we have seen is that market has shown some incredible growth, some serious versatility, and the market is going hot. It's not about only the prices that has gone up, but what I personally feel that the buyers are the ones which are driving the market. Now today, I've got a very dear friend of mine, Shayne Holmes, who's the Director of Property Investment Coaching, today in our office so that we could discuss some certain points about property investment and give some valuable insights from his knowledge so that that would be really helpful for our audience to invest into a wiser future. Thank you so much, Shayne, for dropping down into my office.
Good to meet you, Sam, and great to be here today to talk to you about the markets and where real estate's going in the near future.
Beautiful. Now, let's start off with a few questions, Shayne, that I have actually jotted down, just so that we could give our audience a clear heads up of what an investment is, why it is important, what are the benefits of getting into property investment, and particularly in the today's market.
Now, really, there's a number of different aspects to real estate today in terms of key features, and that is volatility is really held to a minimum because of the compared to other investments. Income is an important part of this in terms of rent, and capital growth in terms of the increase in the value over the medium long term. Tax deductions can also be a big part of real estate. Through depreciation and offsets in terms of expenses. Also, the physical asset is what most people would be familiar with. They can actually see it, and they can drive past it, or they can live in it. And really, it's not so much a complex asset class, and most people have a knowledge either being a tenant or a landlord owner in terms of the experience of holding the property or owning the property.
Interesting. So what I can hear about is that the key points that you picked upon, there were 5 or 6 key points, and I think that was all revolving around because of the market being tightly held. It's very less volatile. It's not risky. It's not going up and down just like what the other investments in cryptos and shares are doing. The income is pretty stagnant, pretty confirmed. Not stagnant itself, but it's an assured return which is coming out of in the form of rentals or some of the growths which the yield it gets. And then comes capital growth, which is pretty obvious. Everyone knows about it from the last year and a half. Again, very positive point that you picked upon was tax depreciation, because a lot of people are investing because they're sitting right on the top and they want to get the best benefits out of the taxes that they pay to the government. Again, assets and knowledge, you and I are there, so we certainly can guide them.
Well, I think also that the market's underpinned by nearly 70% are owner-occupiers. So that keeps the market stable because people have a lifestyle around living in their own home and noting it is providing security and accommodation, basically.
Very, very interesting. 70% of the Adelaide property is owned by owner-occupiers. Only 30% are investors. Very good.
As a rule.
Well, that's good to know. Shayne, help us with certain, give us a bit of an understanding what the proven strategies of the investments, and that would really help the people out there who are watching us today.
Well, again, real estate can provide you 2 main components, which is income and capital growth. And we work off a baseline of knowing that the land is what will give you the capital growth and the income will come from the building.
Lovely.
So those 2 things are critical in terms of holding that asset and looking at a time frame to realise the real good gains, which is over a period of generally 10 plus years.
All right. So what I'm hearing is, do you recommend that the people should hold the investment for a minimum of 10 years or so, or as long as what do you recommend?
Because the cycles generally are over a 10-year period. The market's strong for a period of say 3 years of that. 7 years it tends to go sometimes sideways, and in Adelaide markets generally doesn't take the dips of the eastern seaboard estates do.
So do you recommend, well, the audience out there who are willing to invest because they have got the equity in their current properties and they have got a good borrowing capacity because of the low interest rates, do you recommend the people out there who want to invest, who want to get into the investment portfolios to start off from scratch, to either buy built properties or to get into house and land packages?
Well, the benefits of buying land and then putting a dwelling by building it is stamp duty offset.
Beautiful.
Right, so that stamp duty savings by just paying stamp duty on the land, the saving there could be anywhere between $8,000 and $12,000. And then building over a period of, say, 6 months or so, we work pretty much on that formula every day for most first-home buyers or investors. And through our system of support, professional people we engage with in terms of the mortgage specialist, the conveyancer, and down the track, the property manager and the accountant, we actually have a way of helping each client get into the market and knowing that it's all about not waiting to buy real estate, but buying real estate and wait and hold over a reasonable time frame, which is 10 years.
Got your point. So it's not the time in the market, it's timing the market is one of those sayings that you spend and hold.
It's critical to get in the market, particularly in the current market where there's a lot of competition. There's not enough supply. It's driven by buyers. Even today, it's very strong in that area. Interest rates are historically still low. And that's what's also a key part of why in the recent time the market's been flooded with buyers, and that's pushing up the market prices. And in terms of explaining how leverage can work for them, here's an example of $400,000 purchase with a 5% deposit. It's $20,000. The borrowings then would work out to be up $380,000, and on that $380,000 mortgage, it would work out holding costs of bank loan of $100 per week. Now, at a growth rate, historically Westpac have shown over 40 years at 7%, your gain then on $400,000 is $28,000. So when you wash that through with the holding costs, the overall return on your money is $20,000 is what you've invested plus the cost of $5,100 in your mortgage payments over the year. Compare that to the actual value of the property at the end of 1 year, it could be $428,000. So that leverage factor in real estate, residential real estate, is a very powerful weapon in terms of building your financial wealth.
What a beauty. So what I'm understanding is somebody who has invested $20,000 into an asset, and if they put it into the right place, a bit more in the stamp duty and the expenses that goes along, but they are making a bit over $25,000 or $28,000 under the ideal circumstances over the $20,000 invested in a few years' time. In your understanding, Shayne, tell us a bit more about what is the current real estate market. Like, you've been in this industry for a very long time, and I would say you've got some good experience under your belt. What do you see where the current market is going?
Well, it's a carryover from 2021, where buyers are still very active based on the media information out there that it might be a fear of missing out. And also interest rates, as much as they're looking to increase in the near term, they're still historically at a very low rate, and people can still borrow money in the 3s or even in the high 2s. So that's, for most people with a steady job, an opportunity to buy as a first home buyer or buy using equity and leverage to begin their journey as an investor.
Exactly. Do you want to comment on the market from versus interstate into the Adelaide? Like, a lot of people that I can see, they're picking up their phones and they're buying properties without even seeing it. Like, the last 2 properties have been investment properties bought by interstate investors. So a lot of people, traffic has been coming from Melbourne and Sydney, in particular? What are your thoughts
The
about
reasons really are that our median price is half what Sydney is, and just under that with the Melbourne market.
that? Yep.
And we've certainly performed very well in the last 3 years in terms of the capital city growth across Australia.
Yep.
And that's why we get a lot of inquiries in from Sydney and Melbourne, because they can buy, from Sydney they can buy 2 properties based on our median price versus Sydney.
Yes.
So that's encouraging. Plus our yields are very, very strong for rent.
Yep.
And it's a good market to be investing in for any investor from outside of the state.
In your opinion, what are the most common mistakes that the investors do, or what are the areas that investor needs to avoid?
Well, it comes down to information. It's research and due diligence. We provide a lot of research information and show people how to follow a system that we provide to actually help them understand their numbers and their borrowing capacity, and again, keeping the emotion at bay and the logic based on the numbers, the strategy, and then what we show people how to do is repeat.
Once you came into my office, you were talking about something which was super important, and I really want you to pick on that to showcase what is that particular beautiful thing. And you picked on to 6-point plan. Tell me a bit more about it.
Well, the 6-point plan that we use for all our clients is based on having a property plan, having a budget, noting how their superannuation, which is another investment, is working for them, knowing how much insurance is included in their superannuation, doing some tax planning as soon as they can in terms of things like salary sacrifice with their superannuation, and also having a will to make sure they're up to date with the risk that they were to die prematurely.
Fair enough. So I think having this 6-point plan, we have covered all odds of having the best possible outcome, and at the same time having a safety net for securing and not going through any of those unforeseeable circumstances as well.
Vitally important to have insurance, adequate insurance.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Shayne, thank you so much for your tremendous time. You've been very generous today. So I would love to have you again into my office, but thanks so much for today.
Thank you very much.